Arizona News Radio, at least 5 crew members killed. A cargo plane from the Puerto Rico Air National Guard en route to Arizona crashed in Georgia.
At 11:28 today, a C-130 Hercules aircraft from the Puerto Rico Air National Guard crashed.
Lawmakers still working on the state budget and a possible end to the walkout by teachers.
In some respects, yes, there were some good things that happened, but there's a lot more that can be done.
That wildfire outside of Payson, still over 11,000 acres, but they have made some progress.
It's tougher terrain up there, so we've got hotshot crews assessing the best route to be effective and efficient.
DPS investigating officer involved shooting injured a Quartzsite police officer. DPS officers finally shot and killed the suspect.
After some time negotiating with, or attempting to negotiate with him, we did engage that suspect and he was shot.
George Tanner, Arizona News.
It's time for your 1100 KFNX traffic report, brought to you by Unbound.org. Taking a look out to Phoenix, we have stop-and-go traffic at the Loop 202 westbound between 40th Street and State Route 51, as well as the I-10 westbound between US 60 and 40th Street. What is the education of your children worth? There are children across the world who lack the privilege of going to school. Change the story for one child at Unbound.org.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening under mostly clear skies, our low tonight 58. Sunny Thursday, high 84. Thursday night clear, overnight low 63. And then for Friday, it'll be sunny with a high near 95. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 76 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks, here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
To prevent muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This fast-acting foam is clinically proven to relieve leg and foot cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com. Ask your pharmacist for TheraWorks Relief.
Mother's Day is next Sunday, and ProFlowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99, plus shipping and handling. Go to ProFlowers.com and enter the secret code 3838. But hurry, this deal expires this Friday. 100 colorful blooms for mom for $19.99, plus a free glass vase. Order now because Mother's Day is Sunday, May 13th. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to ProFlowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 3838.
Great news! There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price, and it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Live from the Midtown studios of KFNX, it's time for the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show, sponsored by Atrix.com. Now, here's your hosts, Dr. Spear and Dr. White.
Hello, welcome to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. It is a beautiful Wednesday here in Phoenix, and we're here on the air to talk wellness, health, and fitness. I'm Dr. David Spear, along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss, all the way from the East Coast of the United States, New York. How you doing there, Scott?
Hey, Dave, doing well out here, and finally, we're starting to have some nice days. So very similar to what's going on in Phoenix. It must have hit 75 today.
Yeah, it's mid-70s, and then it's supposed to get into mid-80s, and then, it'll get progressively hot. Today it's a little bit overcast, but the fact that you guys have nice weather out there means summer's probably like next week, because you usually don't have we don't usually have a spring out there in New York.
No, not anymore. No,
yeah.
Things just changed. Like it's on the cutting on a dime.
Exactly.
I like to say.
Exactly. So I'm excited for today's show. We're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to both of us, and that's martial arts and martial arts as fitness. And we're going to be speaking to a very experienced black belt in several different types of forms of the art, and this is going to be great. I'm really excited to kind of ask some questions, get some answers. I started obviously when I was a lot older, but it really is something that I love. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guest, Greg Melita, out of Hampton's Jiu-Jitsu, which is in Southampton, New York. And Greg is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master, has his black belt in that, and also has a black belt in Ishin Ryu, which is and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, a Japanese style.
Absolutely.
And Greg is someone who also works with you as well. This is he also trains you as well, correct?
Absolutely, yes. Greg definitely works with me, and it's been a pleasure. So it's great to have him on the show.
That's
today.
great. Well, Greg, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys, really excited to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. And, I've been working with Scott now, even, just for my own personal wellness. With different, over the years of martial arts training, gotta, attend to all those constant, use of the body, if you will,
Yeah, nagging injuries, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, and so I've been doing a little bit of due diligence on you and kind of checking out, where you come from and looking at some previous interviews. I have an interview of you here from 2015, and it's so interesting because in the interview you say you plan to open up your own school. So when did you open up your own school?
Yeah, that was a great interview. We actually opened up here in Southampton in February 2017, so we're a year and a couple of months, and just moved into a brand new facility in the same town, same building, just double the space, and we just got in here this past weekend, so we're real excited about that.
Oh, wow, that's great, and congratulations on achieving that goal.
Thanks.
It's great to see that you said you were planning on doing this and actually, achieving it.
Yeah, dreams do come true.
Dreams do come true, yeah. And in a lot of the videos that I saw, you work with children. So you have do you have a fairly big younger population that takes Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, we have a pretty even split between the adults and kids as far as our numbers with members, and it's really great to see. And a lot of the kids are in their 3 or 4 surrounding towns.
Okay.
So they see a huge benefit with that. So it worked out great.
That's
and
great.
Dave, my kids are 3.5, and I bring them to Greg's school.
Yeah.
So, it's great to see young kids, adults there, and as Greg said, incorporating the sports performance and physical therapy. He's got a great gig over there, and anybody should really go out and visit.
That's great. And I just want to shout out to our listeners. Our number here is 602-277-5369. Give us a call. Or 1-866-536-1100. And, join the conversation. Again, we're talking with Greg Melita, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt from Long Island, New York. And so Greg, in terms of, Scott and I talk fitness all the time. We talk wellness all the time. That's what the show is about. Many of the times that we've kind of had our discussions and our guests, we talk about falling, how important it is to understand how to fall. Do you notice that when you're working with individuals, whether they're young or adolescent or older, that they've had experiences where they fell and they've used the tools that they've learned in the dojo to kind of either break their fall or minimize the injury?
Yeah, 100%. What's really interesting with that aspect of it is, as an example with the kids, when we first start teaching them, let's say front break fall, they naturally just post their hands flat.
Right.
Into all the weights on the hand. So they're naturally most likely going to break the wrist. And once they learn that use the whole forearm and they teach the muscle memory of that over and over, and somebody after a month of training, that's their natural reaction, is a huge part of it. And that's like within your first 2 classes, you're going to learn those break falls,
Right.
And you flip-flop that to the other side, you're talking a little kid versus now, let's say the elderly, which really need break fall training.
Yeah,
because,
sure.
how many elderly people fall and break their hip just because they don't know how to fall?
Yeah.
So it goes all the way,
That's great. Yeah. No, that's really important. As I was telling Scott this week is that, when I was taking martial arts, there were people who were in their late 60s and 70s who were taking the class, and they may have even been training for 25 years at that point. So, you really saw the difference in how they would fall and how they move and in their coordination, their balance, and everything else that was affected by their training. So,
and Dave, what I like to say, what's amazing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Jiu-Jitsu as a whole is you get to be comfortable on the ground. So many people are comfortable on their 2 feet. Some people and some athletes are great in the air.
Right.
But I'll tell you, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really teaches you how to be comfortable on the ground and how to really take away and minimize the forces that could be done to you. So by far, it's an amazing art in so many ways, from the physics of it into specifics of technique. And, as we always talk about, there are so many aspects of it that are really, truly a good takeaway for fitness.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so the thing is, when I grew up, I don't remember Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as being one of the sort of the art forms out there. I remember karate. This was even before Tiger Schulman,
Of course.
It was really karate and judo. But I guess judo was more of that, was more the on the ground, the grappling type form, whereas the karate was the punching and the kicking and standing up form. So when did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really kind of sort of get into the mainstream of American culture? How did that happen?
Well, it's interesting because you did just mention judo and, the ancient Japanese, jiu-jitsu, the original coming through, that was basically, set aside to bring the judo guys in to make it a sport, make it an education, put it in the education school systems, and, eventually become an Olympic sport. And that was the focus, and it kind of got away from the self-defense aspect. And then even one of the proteges of the judo founder wound up going to Brazil, but this guy was really specific on, developing the judo and the classical jiu-jitsu techniques that he learned from classical Japanese jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
And tailored that for self-defense. And then fast forward, once they trained people in Brazil, and originally, starting with the Gracie family down there, then they came to America, and they're the ones that actually started the UFC.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Really? Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. That's.
Well, if I remember correctly, Greg, the first person, wasn't it Royce Gracie? I remember him, in one of the first handful of UFCs. He was. Yeah, that was the genesis.
Yeah, that was actually their plan, was to use the UFC as a demonstration of how jiu-jitsu is the king of all martial arts. Now, it's interesting. Royce Gracie, the guy who won the first two, he basically was just a lanky, skinny guy. But that was the point, is one of the older Gracie family members, Hickson Gracie, was considered the champion of the family. But he was in some shape. He was very muscular.
Right.
They said, let's throw Royce in there that looks like a normal guy.
Right.
And they succeeded.
What a great demonstration.
The martial arts world by storm. Yeah.
That's great. Well, listen, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about your art, about the ranking system, and about sort of the spiritual aspect of it as well. So we're here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Join the conversation at 1-866-536-1100. We're speaking with Greg Melita, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we'll be right back after these words.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerald Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Are you tired of spending valuable time with doctors who don't give you the attention you deserve? Even worse, they don't do a comprehensive investigation into the symptoms you do have. Finally, there are doctors that can help you and your family regain and maintain a youthful vitality using the tools of integrative medicine. Doctors Beck and Riaz bring over 30 years of experience to their practice, and they're available when you are. Their services include executive weight loss programs, sexual enhancement programs, pain management, and more. Visit Doctors Beck and Riaz at wellnesspartners.com or call 480-508-7050 and make your appointment today. They'll earn your trust through a thorough workup with regular communication and get you feeling better than you have in years. The doctor is in.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today with fashion, function, and quality at the forefront. Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Hi, Solar Sandy here. Currently, you're buying expensive power from your power company, paying fees, taxes, and all kinds of charges for your electricity. I want you to save money on a bill you're already spending too much on, and it's going to keep going up. To get saving with solar, fill out my kilowatt worksheet, and then I come to your house to show you how many panels you need and how much PYOP, producing your own power, will save you. No more high electric bills. It's really quite simple. Now you produce your own power and pay less for it. Go to my website, AskSolarSandy.com. That's AskSolarSandy.com.
Thank you, Steve, bringing us in with something a little bit more rockin'. We're back with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. I'm Dr. David Spear, along with my co-host, Dr. Scott Weiss, and we're speaking with Greg Melita, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and really interesting conversation, especially about the history of Jiu-Jitsu and how it came to be, how it was brought from Brazil to America, as obviously these arts were. In the 1960s, I believe that Bruce Lee had brought his art to America in a similar fashion. But I didn't know that the UFC was actually kind of the
springboard, so to say.
Yeah, and the demonstration ground for what this was, to kind of show it off. It was almost like a showcase of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is really interesting.
And really, the choice of voice was great, because I think other people would say, if, as Greg was saying, if Rickson went in there, people would be like, oh, he's big, he's stronger,
right.
He's more fit. But, to compare it against somebody that looked like the average person, and how the average person can benefit from jiu-jitsu is really the key.
Right. I mean, it's all physics, it's all leverage, right? So, you could have a smaller person who takes down a larger person if they have the right leverage, or if they use the physics to their advantage. So, Scott, I know you wanted to ask a question about, ranking and how that works, and I have my own kind of thoughts on that and questions about that. But why don't you just start us off?
Well, I think people don't realize that there are, so many different arts out there, whether it be a Chinese art, a Korean art, or a Japanese art, or as we're talking right now, a Brazilian Japanese infused hybrid,
Right.
So, and each, style has a different ranking system. So, whether it's, the Chinese martial arts, sometimes, some have sashes and some use a ranking system, but many don't. In the Korean martial arts, they do have a traditional ranking system where there are belts and stripes, and you work your way up towards black belt. But Greg, if you don't mind sharing some of the ranking system and how, the colors of the belt, so to say, go, I think listeners would, like to hear that compared to the other styles.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, particularly in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it was the way, not only the Proven Ground in the UFC showed how it was different than other martial arts, but definitely part of that was the ranking system, where it's very merit-based, and more so than other arts where there's physical tests and you have to memorize, like, kata, so to speak, and things like that, where Jiu-Jitsu is mainly, the ranking system mainly, it's based on two things. Obviously, how your performance is on the mat, fighting live with other people of similar rank to compare, and also time in. Mainly the belt represents time in the art. you're going to have your outliers, like in specific, like tournaments in jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, in international level tournaments. If you win, more than one or two tournaments there, you have to go to the next belt, because otherwise, that's considered sandbagging. You're staying too low at the rank you're supposed to be. So guys fly through the rank, like, BJ Penn is world famous for getting his black belt, I think, in 3.5, 4 years, something amazing like that.
Right.
But obviously the normal regular training represents time in and how you compare to others on the mat with your physical, demonstration of leverage and all the submission techniques of jiu-jitsu. But that's the main difference, I think. It goes white, blue, purple, brown, and black. There's 4 stripes for each belt before you go to the next rank, and specifically on the belt. It's pretty interesting. A lot of people don't even know there's a black tip on the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu belt. That's where you get your stripes on. But it's kind of an interesting look. Like, whatever colored belt you are, that black tip, supposed to remind you that you're seeking the black belt.
I see.
And then once you get black belt, that becomes a red bar or a red tip, because the highest ranking black belt is a red belt.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So that's an unknown thing that people know, or don't know about that red bar. Otherwise, it just means you're an instructor, like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now. Even some of the ranking systems change a little bit, but the red bar means you're an instructor. Generally, other schools kind of use their own meaning of it, but I like that meaning of it.
That is great. That's a good one. I remember in one of the arts I studied, Greg, they used to call them kyosa, or instructors in Korean, and that would have a different symbol or a slightly different patch, so to say. So,
right, or they may have something on their lapel. They may have letters. Yeah.
Correct.
And,
they use that.
Greg, you mentioned something.
Different color top too.
Right. You mentioned something really interesting, which is time in. Because I know that, at least, when I was growing up, it's like, the question was, how long does it take me to get a black belt? And there were some senseis that would answer that question. Oh, it'll take you 2 years. It'll take you 3 years. It'll take you, but then there are some that say, I don't know how long it's going to take you. It's all up to you. So the time in part, I think, is really interesting, because not only is it based on a comparison of sort of like ranked individuals, but it's how much time you put in, because the more time you put in, the more adapted you will be to being on the ground, to being, to grappling, to rolling around, as opposed to showing up once a week and then expecting, hey, well, I've been doing once a week for 3 years. I should be at X rank, So I like that.
It's a very fine line, definitely. It's a fine line with the rank. And, some people say, oh, it's purely time in, so I could just show up and not do anything.
Right.
And if I have enough time in, the other view of that is, there's the learning curve is getting shorter and shorter, because now, before there was a language barrier. Japanese went to Brazilians, and then the Brazilians came to America. There was a language barrier there when they were first teaching it to the Americans. Now, you see a lot of people getting to black belt a lot quicker than, say, 15 years ago. Because so many more people are doing the art itself,
and they're understanding.
That way,
but
exactly. And then one other interesting aspect is, and once you get the black belt, it's purely time in. There's no merit based or anything else. It goes by a measurement of the federation of years for your stripes on your black belt.
I see.
So, whereas somebody can get promoted real quick through the colored ranks, once you hit black, it's purely time in. And for me, I think that alleviates a lot of politics, because, like saying karate, the other art, so many styles have disbanded because at the black belt, the grandmaster gave me this when he gave it, too soon to this guy, and it creates so much animosity that's one thing I think in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu they got it right with the ranking, is when you hit black belt, it is purely time in, and that's it.
It's interesting you say that. I want to mention something that the school I went to was in Brooklyn. And I trained there for maybe close to 3 years, but then we moved out here to Arizona. So now I just do my own thing. But they had a really interesting, sort of, I guess, they had an interesting way of making you humble as far as where you were in your ranking. So there was never a sense that, you got this and I got that. There was really none of that. There was no infighting in that way. So every January, everybody became a white belt again. You actually wore your white belt. And you practiced all the white belt, like you were saying, the kato, the forms. You practiced all of that. You practiced all the self-defense from the white belt level. So if you had just walked into the school, you're practicing the exact same thing that a black belt is practicing. And I found that to be, humbling, but I found it to be really sort of realistic, right? You always have to kind of come back to your beginnings, take a look at where you started, and that will kind of give you an appreciation for not only where you are, but where other people are. So you can meet them where they are. That was, I really liked that part of it. And it sounds like what you're saying is there's really no infighting, and it is based on, like you said, time in and merit and comparison. So that's great.
You're going to get politics everywhere, but I believe the way they do it is, it helps to alleviate, some of it at least, as compared to other styles for sure. Yeah,
I agree. Scott, in your experience, was it similar to mine, or was it more about how much time you put in?
I would say it was kind of a mix of both, but it was more that this is the criteria that you have to learn. These were the certain, so to say, board-breaking techniques that you needed to do for this level. These were the forms you needed to do. This is the amount of people you needed to spar, so to say. So there were real criteria, and of course you needed time in to be able to do that. Right. And I really don't remember people like zooming through the ranks.
Right. Right. It took them a while.
It took people a while, but I could see, the input that, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu idea has, where it really is time in, and I guess it's subjective to the instructor too, Greg, right? It's your decision whether they deserve it or not.
Right.
Definitely.
You're the one who makes that.
A student puts in 4 times a week or more and competes. Definitely going to excel through quicker than somebody who's just coming in once or twice a week as a hobby, which is great. I mean, you want to be able to accommodate everybody,
So we'll be back with segment 3 on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX and the Wellness Roundtable radio show. We're talking martial arts and fitness.
Fair and balanced. Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Arizona's only independent voice. Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
A shift in strategy may be signaled by the Trump White House. Correspondent Shimon Prokopes reports as Clinton impeachment attorney Emmett Flood comes on board, Ty Cobb gets ready to leave.
Ty Cobb all along has been more of the position that they should be cooperative. All the paperwork, all the emails, all the records that Mueller has been requesting have gone through the White House, and his position has always been we should give them what they ask. There are other people who are close to the president and some of the president's own attorneys who have always felt that they should be more combative and not as cooperative with the special counsel.
Starbucks says the settlement it reached with 2 black men arrested at one of its Philadelphia shops last month includes an offer of a free college education. California health officials say about 100 people statewide contracted norovirus in the past week after eating raw oysters from the British Columbia province in Canada. I'm Barbara Cusack.
It's time for your 1100 KFNX traffic report, brought to you by Unbound.org. Taking a look out to Phoenix, we have an accident at the State Route 51 northbound approaching the Loop 101, as well as the Loop 202 westbound at Van Buren Street, and attempt to be on the lookout for a collision with the I-10 eastbound at University Drive. Just like kids here, children across the world have big dreams for the future. Give one child the opportunity for a better tomorrow at Unbound.org.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening under mostly clear skies, our low tonight 58. Sunny Thursday, high 84. Thursday night clear, overnight low 63. And then for Friday, it'll be sunny with a high near 95. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently in downtown Phoenix, it's 73 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX.
Are you tired of spending valuable time with doctors who don't give you the attention you deserve? Even worse, they don't do a comprehensive investigation into the symptoms you do have. Finally, there are doctors that can help you and your family regain and maintain a youthful vitality using the tools of integrative medicine. Doctors Beck and Riaz bring over 30 years of experience to their practice, and they're available when you are. Their services include executive weight loss programs, sexual enhancement programs, pain management, and more. Visit Doctors Beck and Riaz at iWellnessPartners.com or call 480-508-7050 and make your appointment today. They'll earn your trust, do a thorough workup with regular communication, and get you feeling better than you have in years. The doctor is in.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerald Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
We've been going strong since 1923, and this year, Coulter Cadillac is entering its 95th year as Arizona's oldest Cadillac dealer. Hi, I'm Paul Glanz, General Manager for Coulter Cadillac. What other dealer can claim almost 100 years of service? No one. Remember, it's what happens after the sale that keeps our customers coming back, and that's exceptional customer service. See our exciting lineup of 2018 Cadillacs at Coulter on Camelback and 12th Street or online at CoulterCadillacPhoenix.com.
Hi, this is Ken with Online Trading Academy Phoenix. Let's speak frankly. The stock market's near an all-time high. This is a hollow market driven higher only by the Federal Reserve and record margin debt, not the real economy. If you're serious about making money in the market, register for one of our half-day classes to learn how to create more income and protect and build wealth in just a few hours a day. Mention 1100 KFNX and get 2 free tickets, but seating is very limited, so call 8448-INCOME now.
We're back with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Give us a call at 602-277-5369 or 1-866-536-1100. We're talking martial arts and fitness with Greg Melita, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, interesting conversation. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you, Greg, was I wanted to kind of put you on the spot and ask you what your favorite thing is about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you could pick one thing.
Wow, on the spot, one thing. I think it would just have to be how it changes people's perspectives more than anything else. Like, they come in expecting one thing, and it just blows their mind, you know. Like when somebody comes in, maybe they're just looking for self-defense, and they were expecting something totally different than what they get. And maybe they discover they came in the door for self-defense, and they leave becoming totally passionate about the art that actually creates a fitness benefit when they thought they were going to go in, you know, just purely to learn how to defend themselves, you know. So I'd say perspective.
That's interesting. That's an interesting comment. So as a follow-up to that, what are the benefits in terms of fitness and wellness that one can achieve through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Let's say this is someone who's not going to be competing, someone who is just going to be taking classes and doing it for their health. What are some of those benefits?
Well, that's funny. I was just talking to Scott today, and I like to think of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's like a resistance, you know, resistance training where that resistance is actually an unpredictable human body.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, most people, some people get bored. You know, I'm not going to say most people, but some people get bored in a fitness environment where they're just moving weights around, where they'll actually get more of a benefit when they're playing a game of, I like to call human chess, where it's unpredictable motions going on, and it's all body weight resistance, but it's unpredictable resistance that you're constantly adjusting to. It just challenges every part of your fitness, your wind, your cardio, your strength levels, your body weight strength levels, how to move another body in space and move your body around that body. You know, that's a totally different aspect of fitness. I mean, we get high level CrossFit people in here, bodybuilders that are in amazing shape for whatever they do, but they come in here and they're winded in 1 minute, and they have to learn to adjust. You know, that pretty much, you know, says it there in a nutshell. But we coined that term. It's like resistance training, where the resistance is an unpredictable human body. I mean, that's really a lot of any physical arts. You know.
Yeah,
that's great, Greg. And you know, and Dave, I did some research when I was back in college doing a master's degree on, you know, comparing fitness and regular martial art training.
Right.
And you know, people to see if they actually, you know, got similar benefits from going to the gym and doing regular cardio that we think of and doing regular weight and flexibility, or go taking a martial art class. And we found that, you know, middle-aged people really get more of a benefit from the martial arts and more, so to say, aspects of total fitness, because people don't realize that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does incorporate almost every aspect of fitness that's out there.
Right, right. So there's flexibility, there's strength, there's cardiovascular endurance, there's muscular endurance, there's all of the different kind of the different components that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago.
Exactly. I mean, it could change your body, and what people don't realize, it's weight loss. You know, there are many people that, you know, use, you know, jiu-jitsu as a weight loss method, as an exercise weight loss method, and it is successful.
That's a great point, I think, because I think a lot of people, you know, are looking for that. Maybe not the silver bullet, because obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not easy, but it can definitely lead to weight loss, especially with a sensible nutrition program. I also like the idea that you are constantly adjusting. I think that's because that's reality, right? We're constantly adjusting in life, no matter what it is. Circumstances are always being thrown at us, whether they're good, they're bad, and we're constantly adjusting. So that, I think, mirrors life. One of the things that I sort of recognized about, you know, some of the styles that I was involved in is that not that they weren't practical per se, but they didn't necessarily mirror life, because they were very rote. They were very sort of
rehearsed.
Yeah, it was like a rehearsed dance in a way. Which, you know, which if you rehearse the dance enough times, you get good at the dance. So if the individual is, let's say, attacking you in the particular way that you've rehearsed the dance, you're good. However, if the individual is attacking you in a different way, you know, you got to readjust. And obviously, as you get up in the ranks, you learn how to do that. But I would assume that from the get-go, there is constant readjustment when it comes to, you know, grappling and working on the mat.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's pretty much like you said, like you prearrange movements. What happened with the traditional arts, it lost the aliveness and the realness, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brought that back in, that everything is governed by, like, empiricism, where you can do it with a live opponent,
right,
and it works, and you can adjust it from there. That's like the golden rule. Once you break it down where you're not even moving anymore in a live environment, you're standing still, you shouldn't be even training that way, you know?
Right.
And most fights and you know, combative, you know, bouts end up on the ground.
Yeah,
I think
for sure they do.
we've all known that. And, and, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I think, really brought that to the forefront, that, you know, striking is going on, but then there's a collision. And there always will be a collision of bodies, and that's where the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, I think, really succieds.
Yeah, because it's
and that
close.
was the
go ahead, Greg.
That was the conversation I had with my instructor. Just popped in my head when I got my black belt in karate. He said, "Oh, you know, you should learn every style." And other peers in the art of karate heard I was going to do some jiu-jitsu, and they were like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. You don't want to end up on the ground." And my answer was, "Yeah, that's right. So become an expert at the ground,
right? And
I could probably utilize my karate better than any other karate person that doesn't know anything from the ground. They'll be trapped there."
100%.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I definitely, I I see what you're saying. So let me ask you something. So in your classes, give me an idea of the demographic. Like, who are the people who take your classes? You could probably say everybody and anybody, but really, like, a couple of examples so our listeners could know who's taking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, definitely in different times is different answers. Back in the day, you just had people that were like us, really just loving the martial arts and really want to get that deep knowledge of how to defend yourself in a real street situation. Nowadays, with the popularity of jiu-jitsu, I mean, we have the kids coming in that are just bored of other activities. We have adults coming in that are just looking for some other physical activity where you didn't see that years ago. People who got into the martial arts years ago purely were just for, oh man, I just don't want to be attacked.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then they develop a love for the art. And don't get me wrong, we still get people coming in that want to learn how to defend themselves.
Right.
But with the popularity of it, you're getting way more of that, of the cut of the pie, so to speak, of different types of backgrounds and why they're coming to train. There's different reasons, you know?
Right. And I think, it's funny to kind of harken back to where Tiger Schulman was, and I don't know where that, that kind of facet of martial arts is right now. But I think schools like that made it very easy, gave people real easy on-ramps into martial arts, right? So, like, they made it easy for the, whatever it is, the 50-year-old guy who's like the corporate guy who can come after work, and they made it easy for the mom, and they really catered to, I think, the heart of the American population. But then you started to get people who would splinter off because, again, look, I understand that you have to make money doing it. I know that even my school, they're constantly running camps, they're running special programs, they're running classes, they're running clinics and all that stuff. But their model was just sheer, it seemed it was sheer just kind of money making. And I think people splintered off, and then now you had, things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and other arts that really sort of appealed to those people, and they were like, hey, I did martial arts like 5 years ago, but I haven't done it in a while, so maybe this is something I'll try. And then, you got more of the mainstream there.
Well, David, the schools are just kind of, I hate to say, is just tacking it on.
Right.
They might have been a traditional Taekwondo school, and now they just throw up a little sign that says, now we do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, and that's kind of where I think people spread themselves thin.
Yeah, let's talk about that when we come right back. We're here with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show.
Are you tired of spending valuable time with doctors who don't give you the attention you deserve? Even worse, they don't do a comprehensive investigation into the symptoms you do have. Finally, there are doctors that can help you and your family regain and maintain a youthful vitality using the tools of integrative medicine. Doctors Beck and Riaz bring over 30 years of experience to their practice, and they're available when you are. Their services include executive weight loss programs, sexual enhancement programs, pain management, and more. Visit Doctors Beck and Riaz at iWellnessPartners.com or call 480-508-7050 and make your appointment today. They'll earn your trust through a thorough workup with regular communication and get you feeling better than you have in years. The doctor is in.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerald Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Have dinner on top of a mountain. Enjoy a night of entertainment, amazing city views, and night sky viewing with professional astronomers, all while supporting our city's parks and preserves. Join the Phoenix Parks Foundation on Friday, May 18th at Dinner in the Park, Moon over South Mountain, and support your local parks. This one-of-a-kind event offers an amazing evening on top of South Mountain with trolley rides, gourmet food, and drinks. Don't miss this annual event. Tickets on sale now. Moon over South Mountain, Friday, May 18th. Visit phxparksfoundation.org. That's phxparksfoundation.org, or follow us on Facebook.
Wow, the hits just keep coming. Back with the Wellness Roundtable radio show on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Give us a call at 602-277-5369 or 1-866-536-1100. We are talking with our guest, Greg Melita, out of Southampton, New York, and Hampton Jiu-Jitsu, his own Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school. And the last part of that conversation was really interesting. Scott, you made an interesting point at the end that I think we should maybe follow up on, where we were talking about kind of the cash cow of martial arts and how that may have shifted things in terms of people's perspective, as far as what they could do or why they are doing what they're doing. And Greg, as you mentioned, people started out with the whole idea of self-defense, and then they understand that this is about fitness. This is about health. This is another way to obtain health.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge part of it, and I think that's part of the popularity. I mean, yeah, the UFC put martial arts in the mainstream. When people see, the UFC and that jiu-jitsu was the based art that kicked that off.
Right.
They tend to gravitate to that because, like you said, you're comfortable on the ground. So just like when you're a baby, you learn to crawl before you walk.
Correct.
You should master the art of the ground before you master the arts of standing, or a mixture of the two. I think too many MMA people could kind of spread it out instead of trying to master as much as they can each individual art. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's people are looking for just different things to give them different fitness benefits now.
Yeah, I agree. And do you have older people in your classes, like older people who are maybe doing it for coordination and balance?
Yeah, we actually we offer a bunch of different classes here at Hampton Jiu-Jitsu. We have a judo class, and we have the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. We have yoga there, and now with the new facility, we're going to be having all different services and for recovery and massage and things like that. But yeah, we have there's actually a bunch of people that come out and visit for the summer, and in addition to the other students, we have guys and women well into their 50s that have come into the school just for the sake of keeping moving,
Got it. So let me ask you, I've always been interested in sort of the traditionalist martial art, the Eastern philosophy, the sort of the spiritual aspect of the art has always been appealing to me. And now it's even more so because I'm in my 50s and I'm not starting bar fights, at least not now. So there's no, so not that I don't want to stay fit and continue my martial arts, practice my kata and all that, but I do love the spiritual aspect. Is there that piece to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, and I would say not so much in the sense of that we're actively practicing a spiritual aspect of it or a method, but because the training is so hands-on and it's like I say, human chess.
It really develops your mindset and builds up your confidence. You're constantly breaking down barriers and attacking different challenges. You're leveling up every time you're training in such a real way, where as opposed to, another art where you're just getting tested on a kata, here you're getting tested because you can fully get yourself in a position where the other person was trying not to let you do that, like in as much as they possibly can. And what that does when you constantly learn the moves and do them in that live environment, what that does for your mindset, for your confidence is, and sometimes way more beneficial than if you were actively thinking about studying a spiritual end of it, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it does, Greg. It's like, and also, Dave, I always think it's like what you bring to the art itself. If you respect the art and you realize where it came from, I think the respect sometimes transfers into understanding and having a connection with the past.
Right.
And that might develop some spiritual sense to the art.
Sure. Like, in other words, understanding the deep and rich history of it, where it comes from, and its background and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you become not only a practitioner, I like to say, you become truly a student of the art for life.
Right.
And that's what many of these people talk about. Greg, it's BJJ for life. That's it. That's their mindset. They start living, their life like that and really, adopting that. And that, it's really, the person that could bring that spiritual side. But it's not like Greg was saying, it's not like they're doing meditation.
Right.
Yeah, with the kids, the parents come in and they're concerned about bullying, and they don't want to put their kids into a martial art because they'll hurt somebody. It's the opposite effect. Kids just study and they put themselves in the situations and better themselves there. Then a kid bullying doesn't have an effect on them, because that out there, the effect is, oh no, the kid might hurt me. But if they're not even threatened by that, then they're not even in a bullying situation anymore. They just let it bounce right off them.
I see. Right. And it's that self-confidence and that self-awareness that they develop through the art that allows them to do that. For sure. Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. And it's funny, I came from a little bit more of a traditionalist view where it was bowing on and off the mat, and it was wiping the mat up after you're done, and it was like keeping the dojo clean, and it was all those things.
That's respect.
Right, that's respect. But like you said, and you made a really good point, Greg, is that when you're sort of against another body and you're showing, it's a chess match, right? You're trying to anticipate the next move so that you can either deflect it or defend it, or at least even attack the move. That's kind of interesting, because that does create a different mindset in somebody, even though, there may not be, I don't know if there is bowing on and off the mat, but what I'm saying is, even though there may not be that sort of traditionalist idea, you still get it from other aspects of the art. So that's really interesting.
The answer is balance. The answer is balance, because we do bow on and off the mat, and there is that respect factor, but it's not as traditional as other arts.
Right.
But it's also not just pure chaos. There's got to be a balance, and that's what we do here at Hampton Jiu-Jitsu. It's still keep the traditional aspect of bowing on and off the mat, bowing to your partner, but it's, the golden rule is still everything's governed by that realist, the realism of the training. Got it.
Okay. Do you find, Greg, that that your older students have difficulty with the sort of rolling around, almost like they get kind of like a vertigo or a little bit dizzy or things like that? And I'll share with you one of my most horrible experiences. So I had just started taking martial arts when I was 45, and or 46 or whatever. And one of my first classes, the night before, I had a couple glasses of wine with my wife. We were hanging out. Yeah, I went to class the next morning at 6:00, and it was roll day. It was not good for me. I was green pretty much after about 30 minutes of rolling. So I just wonder, I know it takes time to adapt over time, but is there anything that you find, that you do differently with older students that you don't do with younger ones?
Yeah, I mean, to put a whole fitness spin on it, you scale the exercise, where, as once again, back in the day, it was old school and school of hard knocks, and there was an attrition rate, and so what that was, it was very tough to have people that just wanted to come in to see the fitness benefits back then. Nowadays, and you accommodate, you show the move and you just scale it. If somebody's getting, a little dizzy or something, or
anything like that. You're just basically going to scale it to their ability, which is great. You can have somebody in the class that, you know, can barely do crawls in the same class as a world champion athlete who wants to compete.
Right,
you know?
right. So you can kind of, I understand. It's all relative to the individual. You
and
kind of
Dave,
set
if
it
you
up.
would remember it like in a fitness class, you can, if the instructor is astute enough, you can really direct each person's level. Hey, you're just going to do this and scale it low.
Yeah.
You're just going to do this
for
and
sure.
scale it moderate.
Yeah, you modify it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good point. Well, Greg,
and that's what Greg's talking about.
Greg, listen, what I'd love to do, and Scott, I'm sure this would be great. I would love to have videos that we could maybe project while we're on the radio, and then you kind of explain what it is that you're doing in terms of moves and things like that. I think that could be really informative if that's something we could do here. And we'd love to have you back on the show. We actually are kind of running out of time, believe it or not. But really, this was very informative, and thanks for being so forthcoming and so kind of informational about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You taught me a lot. I'm sure you taught our listeners a ton. So we'd love to invite you back on when you would be willing to come back on. Okay, that sounds great.
You know, that'd be great. I appreciate the opportunity, guys, and you know, definitely stay in touch at hamptonsjujitsu.com, and I'd love to come back.
Absolutely. Okay, visit hamptonsjujitsu.com.
Thanks, Greg.
We were speaking with Greg Melita, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. I'm Dr. David Spearer, my co-host Dr. Scott Weiss, wishing you a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Been listening to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show right here on Independent Talk 1100 KFNX. Tune in next week for more from the experts on the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Hi, Rick and Dave here. The Elton Brothers on KFNX. Have you ever pulled in front of a listing, can't get a hold of anyone, and just wanted more info and photos? That's so annoying. Well, we have an app for you. Simply text Elton to 32323. It's completely free and downloads right to your mobile device. So any real estate sign across the valley. Text Elton to 32323 and get all the MLS info right to your phone. Immediately. The Elton Brothers, putting real estate in the palm of your hand.
Tune in Thursdays at 11 a.m.
You're listening to Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, Cave Creek, Phoenix, a division of Premier Radio Stations, the home of Laura Ingraham, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. It's 4 o'clock.